You need to understand that they want you sick and dying expensively. Dr. Caroline Dean, MD, ND. And I've been saying that. And there's a doctor saying exactly the same. If voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. Mark Twain. Matt Hancock pledges to lift immigration limits on NHS medics. Now, I've said in some of my previous casts that the plan is to pay the indigenous nurses and whatnot here such a low wage they have to leave, and then they're going to bring in immigrants and pay them a massive wage. That, and I've said that many times, that is exactly what is going off there. The UK should allow complete freedom of movement for medics from around the world, the Tory leadership hopeful Matt Hancock will pledge on Monday. The Health Secretary, who is one of the main contenders for the party's centre-left in the 13-strong race to be the next Prime Minister, will promise to lift all immigration restrictions and for qualified doctors and nurses of any nationality who have secured a job in the NHS. Hancock will use a speech on the future of NHS staffing to outline his plan if he becomes the next Prime Minister. In the speech, seen by The Guardian, he will say, our NHS could not provide its world-class service to patients without the hard-working doctors and nurses from our nations. That's why I believe after Brexit we need to see the free movement of medics and doctors. I've been saying they were doing that all along. There it is in black and white. 5G. Insurance underwriters refuse to cover wireless industry. A recent Guardian article entitled The Inconvenient Truth About Cancer and Mobile Phones stated on the 28th of this year, the scientific peer review of a landmark United States government study concluded that there is clear evidence that radiation from mobile phones cause cancer. For a quarter of the century now, the industry has been orchestrating a global PR campaign amid a misleading not only journalists but also consumers and policymakers about the actual science concerning mobile phone radiation. Indeed, Big Wireless has borrowed the very same strategy and tactics Big Tobacco and Big Oil pioneered to deceive the public about the risks of smoking and climate change, respectively. And like their tobacco and oil counterparts, wireless industry CEOs lied to the public even after their own scientists privately warned that their products could be dangerous, especially to children. The Guardian appears, at least in this article, to be surprised at the beginning at being misled. Yet the Guardian's sister paper, The Observer, published an article in 1999 that stated Lloyd's Underwriters refused to insure mobile phone manufacturers against the risk of damage to users' health. That article was unequivocally clear. The insurers had fears mobile phones will be linked to illness such as cancer and Alzheimer's disease. 20 years ago, the industry already knew their business model were a risk to the general public, especially because insurers were already refusing to cover their biggest liabilities, and as True Publica reported yesterday in Delegate to Phonegate, the news was very much kept under wraps by the industry. If the insurance company refused to insure something, that's because they know there's going to be massive insurance claims coming. That doesn't tell you all you need to know about, not just about mobile phones, but the 5G network. You're not paying attention. We don't want billionaires charity, we want them to pay their taxes. Rather than philanthropy, the super wealthy should give their money to governments that know better how to spend it. Wow. Owen Jones, what a twat. Charity is a cold, grey, loveless thing. If a rich man wants to help the poor, he should pay his taxes gladly, not dole out money at a whim. It is a phase commonly ascribed to Clement Attlee, The credit actually belongs to his biographer, Francis Beckett, but it elegantly sums up the case for progressive taxation, according to a report by the Swiss bank UBS. Last year's billionaires made more than any other point in history of human civilization. Only corporations should pay tax, so yeah, they probably should. But we shouldn't be paying any tax at all. And there is no law that says a man or woman has to pay tax. I've got a video on one of my channels, if you want to search it out, where we call the tax office up and ask them what law states you have to pay tax. And they replies, well, that's a new one. So no one's ever asked what law called the HMRCS and asked them what law they use to steal from us all. Anyway, he came back with, I think it was a 2006 something act. And so we says, what was it before that? Cannabis cures cancer and the government knows it. Cannabis is labelled by the US government as a Schedule 1 narcotic, meaning little to no known medical value, even though the US government holds patents that state otherwise. Medicinal, which is approved by the FDA, is synthetic THC. Millions of people are sitting in jail for using cannabis raw, but it's perfectly fine to use the plant if the government and their corporate owners take most of the medicine out of it, then get to charge you an arm and a leg for it. Why is that? I shall explain. Links in description, but just read that at the bottom there. From 1850 to 1937, cannabis was used as the prime medicine for more than 100 separate illnesses or diseases in the US. Pharmacopoeia. Tobacco is illegal. Oh, sorry. I'll restart that, shall I? Tobacco is legal, but cannabis actually kills and prevents lung cancer. Cannabis kills cancer. However, decades of neglect, propaganda against this plant medicine still influence the way many people look at it, and it's often compared to tobacco when considering its effect on human health. There is no doubt tobacco causes lung cancer, as well as many other chronic and deadly illnesses, yet it is still available everywhere while people are being locked up for using a plant that heals. Contrary to our previous understanding, it turns out that cannabis can stop and even prevent lung cancer, according to scientists from the American Association of Cancer Research. In 2007, the association produced a report demonstrating that the psychoactive ingredient in cannabis, delta-tetrahydrocannabinoidal, THC, cuts tumour growth in common lung cancer in half and significantly reduces the ability of the cancer to spread. In the present study, the researchers first demonstrated that two different lung cancer cell lines, as well as pattern lung tumour samples, express CB1 and CB2, and that non-toxic dose of THC inhibited growth and spread in the cell lines. When the cells are pre-treated with THC, they have less EGFR stimulated invasion as measured by various in vitro assays. They have it in black and white. And yet that's, well, starting to become legal, but only the pharmaceutical shit version. Not just bees. Trees are dying off at an alarming rate with little public attention. In the background of modern life, as people go on debating politics and working for a living, something dreadful is happening to the ecosystem which support us. Major disasters like the ongoing radioactive leak at Fukushima, the apocalyptic fires burning throughout Indonesia, even bee colony collapse disorder seem to fall out of view in day-to-day life, as we seem to have lost our power and will to directly participate in the stewardship of the planet. A new crisis is now happening all around us, affecting trees. It appears that millions, hundreds of millions even, of trees are dying in North America and around the world. A basic of reasons promising to completely and permanently alter the landscape and environment around us. Trees are among the most abundant and the most critical organisms of the planet Earth, and only recently have we been able to assess just how many trees inhabit planet Earth. A study published in 2015 gave us this picture. A new study published in Nature estimates the planet has 3.4 trillion trees. The research says 15.3 billion trees are chopped down every year. It also estimates that 46% of the world's trees have been cleared over the past 12,000 years. Now, in the 2016, alarm bells are ringing, and in California alone, the problem has become incredibly severe. Let's not forget, trees are the lungs of the planet. Every mature tree produces enough oxygen for 4 humans. Let that sink in. Every time you cut a tree down, you're cutting oxygen for 4 men, women, or children. Big Pharma stands to lose $18.5 billion if all 50 states legalize medical marijuana. Pharmaceutical companies are one of the biggest influences in the US economy and subsequently in US law. It is no secret that Big Pharma has lobbied against medical and recreational marijuana legislation as they stand to lose a substantial amount of money. States that have already legalized medical cannabis are already seeing the effects. Prescription drug usage has decreased by an average of 11%. The National Academies of Science keeps track of the conditions most effectively treated with medical marijuana, and nearly all of them have high-profit prescription counterparts. Among the conditions are glaucoma, chronic pain, nerve disorder pain, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, sleep disorders, and nausea, vomiting associated with chemotherapy. Links in the description if you want to read that rest of that, and I strongly suggest you do. Inheritance tax rules save richest families nearly $700 million a year. A clutch of the wealthiest families in the UK are taking advantage of inheritance tax rules designed to help small businesses and landowners, saving themselves almost $700 million a year, according to a report. The campaigning group Tax Justice UK found 234 families with more than $1 million in business assets shared $458 million in relief in the 2015-16 year thanks to inheritance tax breaks. This represented almost 8% of the total business tax relief given in that financial year. Inheritance tax was written by them, for them, not for us. Raw honey, the liquid gold with unique antiviral, anti-aging and anti-cancer properties. Oftentimes, raw and organic honey is often referred to as liquid gold due to its astonishing healing properties, i.e. antifungal, antiviral, restorative, anti-aging and anti-cancer. Unstrained and not warmed over 115 degrees Fahrenheit, this honey is rich in good chemicals, amino acids, minerals, vitamins and fatty acids. All of these substances play a major role in preserving the optimal health and reducing the risk of disease and infection. Continue reading to the article to learn more about why you need to regularly consume raw and organic honey. Raw honey's amazing healing potential. This honey will help you better your overall health in numerous different ways. Namely, it will strengthen your immunity, improve the digestion, better the blood flow, help speed up the healing of ulcers, alleviate cold and flu symptoms, relieve sore throats, cleanse the kidneys and more. Thanks to the probiotic present in it, honey helps maintain optimal gut health. It will take into account that a large part of our immunity is centered in the gut. Raw honey needs to be a part of every healthy diet. Being an expectorant, it can be of the great aid for asthma and bronchitis. Moreover, it is hygroscopic. That is, it has the ability to pull out the dampness from germs and thus induce their death. This being said, many people apply it topically onto the skin to alleviate abrasions, cuts, bruises and rashes and keep wounds and injuries sterile. Adding raw honey to your diet. Again, read more, links in description. Portland officials attempt to block 5G network installation over health risks. Portland, Oregon city officials are setting up to run opposition to the installation of 5G networks around the city. The initiative is supported by Mayor Ted Wheeler and 2 commissioners, Amanda Fitz and Chloe Oodley. The city feels that 5G health risks are not well enough understood to warrant installation. Additional and federal government issues with telecommunication rules influence the opposition movement. Catu News reported that Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, decided to impose new restrictions over how cities are allowed to manage transmitters that reside on city property. They also put $270 million limit on franchise fees. Typically, cities charge $3,000 in fees. According to Wheeler, the disparity in fee acquisition costs could cost his city almost $10 million, a loss he's not willing to accept. In Cato's report, Wheeler calls the new FCC rules something of a land grab against local infrastructures like telephone poles where these wireless nodes will be connected. Your DNA is designed to be at risk from EMF radiation and 5G, and it will, and I'll tell you why. The very structure of DNA lays the destiny for its susceptibility to even the lowest frequencies of EMF. There are other reasons, but for this article we will explore our DNA as antenna. Research has provided us with the opportunity to explore our DNA structures as an optimized receiver for large amounts of EMF radiation. This has led to us understanding that our very own DNA acts as a fractal antenna. It attracts large amounts of EMF. Now, when I first came across this information, I had no idea what a fractal antenna was. I had to do a bit of reading and cross-checking to understand what exactly this meant. So here I'm going to break it down simply. Consider it a segue to your own research on a subject. So what are fractal antennas? First, so we can understand what they mean together, let's understand the basics of these two things, fractal and antennas. Antennas, and it goes on to explain it, and fractals, and it goes on to explain it. Again, link in description if you want to have a read. Science confirms that people absorb energy from others. Did it ever happen to you to feel a bad vibe when you were with another person, as if this person was absorbing your energy? Everything is energy is one of the main axioms of science, and human beings are no stranger to energy transformations. An interesting study was conducted at the University of Bielefeld, Germany, which shows that plants can absorb energy from other plants. Oliver Bade Lee, a physician and therapist, followed the results of this investigation. The science that studies the behavior of energy in living things is called bioenergetics. This research was conducted in algae, specifically in Calmadomonas. Long word. It was discovered that in addition to photosynthesis, it also has an alternative source of energy, and that would be to absorb energy from the other algae. The charge of this research is the German biologist Olaf Kruse, and its findings were reported to neurosite.com. Nature site. Paedophile MPs are mocking British law as a supporter of anti-child abuse initiatives, including calling for a full investigation into institutional paedophile over the past 4 decades. I have been particularly interested in the events of the past week. To recap, Labour Party members Harriet Harman and her husband Jack Dromey and their colleague Patricia Hewitt have been at the centre of a media frenzy for their alleged links to the Paedophile Information Exchange, PI, which campaigned to legalise sex with children in the 70s. Naturally, I found their report connections to PI disturbing when I first happened upon this information, which is why I wrote about it in the Sunday Express last May. Again, another one you need to check out, the link in the description too. 8 medicinal mushrooms capable of performing healing in the human body. Turkey tail, reishi, cordyceps, lion's mane, shiitake, tremella, chaga, and nitrate. Chaga cures cancer, apparently, from what I've read. Mushrooms are an incredible life form. They share more DNA with animals than they do with plants, and serve as a communication network between trees. They're also one of the most potent natural medicines available, and are capable of profound healing effects in the human body. These 8 medical mushrooms contain major antioxidant concentrations which help prevent tumours, increase longevity, strengthen neuronal connections in the brain, improve lung and kidney health, and so much more. The best mushroom extract powder is found are by those from hybrid herbs. They are ready to consume, can easily be added to teas, smoothies, juices, or whatever beverage you choose. If you want a high quality mushroom powder, be sure to buy from these guys. Link in description. Why lack of sleep can cause early death, cancer, stroke, and more, according to studies. Side effects from missing sleep: irritability, cognitive impairment, memory lapse or loss, impaired moral judgment, decreased creativity, increased stress, symptoms similar to ADHD, impaired immune system, increases heart rate variability, risk of heart disease and stroke, increased reaction time, decreased accuracy, tremors, aches. The effect of sleep deprivation can have serious consequences on your health. A lack of sleep can cause weight gain, high blood pressure, heart disease, and mood swings. One of the dangers of sleep deprivation is that a lack of sleep can make you sick. Not getting adequate sleep can even increase your risk of disease such as cancer, and can lead to permanent death. Oh, premature death. I was going to say, death is permanent. Well, for this body anyway. Most people need between 7 and 8 hours of sleep each night. Having trouble falling asleep, waking up frequently during the night, or certain medications can hinder your sleep patterns. The effects of long-term sleep deprivation can cause you to feel constantly groggy, irritable, and in a bad mood. What can happen to your health if you regularly don't get enough sleep? In this article, you will find out that sleep deprivation does to your what sleep deprivation does to your body. You will also learn how to improve your sleep quality to prevent the side effects of sleep deprivation. Again, links in description. Metro. Star Spangled Banquet. This is in every paper, so it's a distraction. The parasites and Trump. The Guardian. Tea and antipathy, insults mark start of Trump visit. President in Twitter tirade against London Mayor before landing. Red carpet rolled out for state visit with Queen at Buckingham Palace. Corbyn to speak to crowd demonstrating against Trump today. That'd be interesting to see what he's got to say, I guess. Aye. Veterans go back to the beaches by cruise ship. England fall to surprise defeat against Pakistan. May snub after royal welcome for Trump. Tales of the City, the Netflix reboot. Private talks between PM and President scrapped as relations sour. State visit starts in style with royal family rolling out the red carpet. Up to 250,000 expected to join anti-Trump rally in London today. Designer baby, scientists sound alarm over the risk of dying early. Applies to everything. President leads Tory race, Mark Wallace. Johnson criticised on school funding offer. What the end of iTunes will mean for your music collection. Won't mean nothing to me. The Times. Vitamin D cuts the risk of dying from cancer. We know that. May to take tough line with Trump over China. Oh really? Residents face confrontational meeting after praising special relationship at state banquet. Plastic packets axed. Bodies spotted. Johnson in front, warning for Salvini, investor stock trapped, England setback. Express. Same shit every paper. President Trump pays tribute to our great Queen and war heroes and says once Britain breaks free from Brussels, big trade deal awaits. Here's to the end of EU shackles. Well, everyone seems to know that it's a dictatorship, but Mirror. How I kept BGT in the dark about Magician X. Trump in Britain, pomp and protest, red carpet rolled out for president, but today 250,000 will march against him. Telegraph, more pictures of the parasites and whatnot. Corbyn to lead protests against Trump. Vitamin D may restore deaths from cancer, reduce deaths from cancer. US manufacturing slumped to crisis levels, England falls short. The fail, the winners, and stone cold losers, as Labour chiefs sneer with petty insults to Queen and Trump show what leadership really means. All this in every paper says something else is going on they don't want you to be looking at. Waste of paper store. Let the cheating begin. Python calls out Cleese. I actually trust Cleese more than Python. Just in health scare. Seeking crimson. No. Yo, Liz. Terrible modern. President Trump first bumps Madge. What's that? Yeah, bullshit distraction. The scum. Harry gets the hump over Trump. Great. George Michael's 93 million. Will. Stitch me up before you go. Lovers Faddy and Kenny get nothing. FT. Trump goes to the palace. Woodford blocks withdrawal but as 10 million a day exodus takes toll. Asset managers in bonfire of reputation. Fund shrinks 2/3 as 3.7 billion since 2017. Watchdog rush to draw up rules of the air as flying taxis book 2025 departure. Tiananmen ideals fall to rouse China's middle class. Fail to rouse China's middle class. I's the new PM and we's getting the F out of Europe, innit? And the sad thing about this is he would make a better Prime Minister than all the past Prime Ministers we've ever had. Every single one of them has been corrupt and committed treason and betrayed every man, woman and child of this country. Whether it's Churchill to Blair to May, doesn't matter. They've all committed treason. They've all betrayed the men, every man, woman and child of this nation. And as I said, the picture says it all. When he would make a better PM than any we've ever had, and 99.9% of the population would make a better PM than any we've ever had. That's how sad the politics in the UK, Britain, whatever you want to say, that's how bad things have got here. But at least many are starting to see through the smoke and facade now.